Picture this. It's 1960, and a quiet bookkeeper living peacefully in Argentina suddenly finds himself drugged, kidnapped, and smuggled aboard an Israeli aircraft. His crime? Being one of history's most wanted war criminals. That bookkeeper was Adolf Eichmann, architect of the Holocaust, and his capture by Israeli agents launched Mossad into legendary status. But you're about to discover that this was just the beginning of the world's most audacious spy operations. What you think you know about espionage comes from Hollywood movies. But the real Mossad operations? They make James Bond look like amateur hour. We're talking about an intelligence agency that has literally rewritten the rules of international espionage, pulled off operations so impossible they sound like fiction, and kept a tiny nation alive in the world's most dangerous neighborhood for over 75 years. Let's start with the organization itself. Mossad, Hebrew for the Institute, was officially founded in 1949, just 1 year after Israel's independence. But here's what's fascinating. This wasn't just another intelligence agency. Israel faced a unique challenge that no other country in history had dealt with. They were surrounded by enemies sworn to destroy them, had no natural allies, and needed to protect Jewish communities worldwide while gathering intelligence on threats that could literally end their existence overnight. The first major operation that put Mossad on the map was Operation Finale, the capture of Adolf Eichmann. This wasn't just about justice. It was about sending a message to Nazi war criminals everywhere. There's nowhere you can hide. The operation took months of planning. Israeli agents posed as businessmen, tourists, and locals in Buenos Aires. They tracked Eichmann's daily routine, learned his habits, and discovered he took the same bus home from work every single day. On May 11, 1960, two Mossad agents grabbed Eichmann as he walked from the bus stop to his house. They drugged him, kept him hidden in a safe house for 9 days, and then pulled off something absolutely incredible. They disguised him as an El Al flight crew member, complete with uniform and fake ID, and flew him to Israel on a commercial flight. Imagine that, one of history's most wanted men, sitting in the crew section of a passenger plane, unconscious and bound for his trial. But Eichmann was just the opening act. What came next would establish Mossad as the most feared intelligence agency on Earth. After the 1972 Munich Olympics massacre, where Palestinian terrorists killed 11 Israeli athletes, Mossad launched Operation Wrath of God. This wasn't just retaliation. It was systematic elimination of everyone involved in the attack, plus key figures in international terrorism. The operation lasted over 20 years and spanned multiple continents. Mossad agents became masters of assassination, using everything from exploding phones to poison-tipped umbrellas. In 1973, they tracked down Mahmoud Hamshari, one of the Munich planners, in Paris. They rigged his phone to explode when he answered it. The explosion was so precisely calibrated that it killed only him, leaving his apartment and neighbors completely unharmed. If you're finding these operations as mind-blowing as I am, I'd love it if you could hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us bring you more incredible stories about the secret world of international espionage. But phone bombs were just the beginning. Mossad agents became legendary for their creativity. They once eliminated a target using a remote-controlled car bomb in Beirut. But here's the twist. They waited until he was alone in his car to avoid civilian casualties. They tracked another terrorist to his hotel room in Athens and killed him with a pressure-activated bomb hidden in his bed that only exploded when he lay down. The agency's technical capabilities were decades ahead of anyone else. In the 1960s, they developed miniature recording devices, invisible inks that could only be revealed under specific conditions, and communication systems that allowed agents to send messages across continents without detection. They were using sophisticated disguises, plastic surgery, and identity theft long before these became standard intelligence tools. One of their most audacious operations happened in 1966, when they convinced an Iraqi pilot to defect and steal a brand new Soviet MiG-21 fighter jet. The pilot flew the plane directly to Israel, giving them access to cutting-edge Soviet military technology. But here's the incredible part. They studied the plane, figured out all its weaknesses, and then used that information to dominate Arab air forces in the 1967 Six-Day War. Mossad's reach extended far beyond the Middle East. They had agents in every major capital, from Washington to Moscow to Cairo. They ran operations in Africa, South America, Europe, and Asia. They once smuggled an entire Jewish community out of Ethiopia using fake tourism companies and humanitarian aid organizations as cover. Operation Moses and Operation Solomon saved over 30,000 Ethiopian Jews, transporting them to Israel right under the noses of hostile governments. The agency's intelligence gathering was equally impressive. They penetrated the highest levels of Arab governments, terrorist organizations, and even allied nations. They knew about Egypt's plans to attack Israel in 1973 but were ignored by Israeli leadership, a mistake that almost cost Israel the war. They discovered Syria's nuclear reactor in 2007 and provided intelligence that led to its destruction by the Israeli Air Force. But perhaps their most controversial operations involved nuclear security. When Pakistan was developing nuclear weapons in the 1970s, Mossad agents infiltrated the program and may have sabotaged key components. When Iran began its nuclear program, mysterious computer viruses, assassinated scientists, and exploding facilities became regular occurrences. The Stuxnet virus that destroyed Iranian centrifuges was so sophisticated that cybersecurity experts called it the most advanced cyber weapon ever deployed. Mossad's operations weren't always successful, and sometimes they backfired spectacularly. In 1997, they tried to assassinate a Hamas leader in Jordan, using a poison that was supposed to be undetectable. Instead, the target survived. 2 agents were captured, and Israel was forced to hand over the antidote and release Hamas prisoners to free their operatives. It was a rare public embarrassment for an agency that prided itself on invisibility. What makes Mossad unique isn't just their operational capabilities, it's their recruitment and training. They don't recruit from military academies or universities. Instead, they look for ordinary people with extraordinary talents. A language genius who can master any accent, a mechanic who can build untraceable bombs, an actor who can become anyone. New recruits undergo years of training that includes everything from martial arts to psychology to advanced technology. The psychological profile of a Mossad agent is fascinating. They're trained to compartmentalize their emotions, maintain multiple identities, and live double or triple lives for years. Many agents have families who never know their real jobs. They travel the world under fake identities, speak multiple languages fluently, and can adapt to any cultural situation within hours. Modern Mossad operations have evolved with technology. They now run sophisticated cyber operations, use artificial intelligence for target identification, and employ social media for both intelligence gathering and disinformation campaigns. They've been linked to everything from smartphone hacking to cryptocurrency manipulation to social media propaganda campaigns. The agency's current priorities include Iran's nuclear program, Hezbollah's growing arsenal, and emerging threats from cyber warfare. But they're also dealing with new challenges: international courts investigating war crimes, increased global surveillance that makes their operations harder, and the democratization of technology that gives their enemies capabilities once exclusive to major powers. What's remarkable about Mossad is how a tiny nation created an intelligence capability that rivals superpowers. Israel spends more on intelligence per capita than any other country, and Mossad agents are considered among the best trained in the world. They've influenced American CIA operations, trained security services in multiple countries, and their techniques are studied in intelligence academies worldwide. The human cost of these operations is rarely discussed. Agents who spend decades living false identities often struggle with psychological problems. Some never recover from the things they've seen or done. Others become so embedded in their cover identities that they lose track of who they really are. It's a price that comes with operating in the shadows. Today, Mossad remains one of the most secretive organizations on Earth. Most of their operations never become public. The stories we know are likely just the tip of the iceberg. Current estimates suggest they run hundreds of active operations simultaneously across dozens of countries, with thousands of agents and assets worldwide. But here's what we haven't talked about yet, and this might blow your mind even more than these operations. The technology Mossad developed didn't just stay in the intelligence world. Many civilian technologies you use every day were originally created for spy operations. The GPS in your phone, certain encryption methods, even some social media algorithms can trace their origins back to intelligence requirements. That's a story for our next video because, trust me, you haven't heard anything yet about how intelligence agencies shaped the technology revolution. Make sure you're subscribed, because what we're going to reveal next will completely change how you think about the devices you use every day. The secret world of intelligence technology is more connected to your daily life than you could possibly imagine.